ask me. So today I really do thank you for turning up at the Slate call. I wanted to advise you today of arrest of a 45-year-old male from Northfield for the murder of Phyllis Harrison. Now, that murder occurred 22 years ago. Phyllis was 71 and she was found murdered in her house by her daughter and grandson. The arrest happened this morning and the suspect will be before court tomorrow morning in the Adelaide Magistrates Court. This is quite a unique situation from my perspective about what I can say today, because it is now in the hands of the court. You'll understand that, and so more will become evident tomorrow morning. The arrest comes around as a result of Operation Persist, which is a long-term operation run by Major Crime, where we look at what's commonly termed cold case murders, and most of those are quite old. It's been a wonderful success, and I want to talk a bit about that, because there's a real message that comes out of this arrest today for everybody. But let me go back to Phyllis while we're here today. Phyllis was a grandmother. She was 71. She was found murdered in her house at 4:30 p.m. on the 3rd of March 1998. She was found and had been stabbed. She died as a result of those stab wounds. The house was ransacked, and it's really unclear even to this day whether anything was taken. And that's an important point I want to make, because we will be seeking assistance from the community. Anyone that might know or have heard something about what might have been taken, even so long ago, is really valuable information, and I'll talk about that further. As far as we were aware, way back in 1998, Phyllis was last seen at about 7:30 on the previous night on Monday the 2nd of March. She was walking her dog. The next day she was found murdered. A knife was found nearby. It matched the type of attack that had happened, and that is, of course, retained by the police. We still have a reward of $200,000 that might bring this matter to a safe, successful conclusion in court for a conviction. Now, despite this arrest, we're confident in making this call to the community that there might be some more information out there. There might be someone who knows something, who is reflecting on something they saw or heard in the past 22 years. Now's the time to come forward. It's the right thing to do, and it's the right time to come forward, because every little bit counts. It might be something that to you is insignificant, but to the investigators in major crime is vitally important. So we got to this point by some really committed investigation work by the detectives of major crime, and also working with Forensic Science South Australia. This has been a good collaboration. This is the real benefit of persistence, which is why we call this Operation Persist. Where do we go from here? Well, we'll be making our case in court tomorrow morning, and that is going to impact what I can say to you today. But some of the details will become evident in the morning. Operation Persist is a really crucial part of the role that major crime plays in solving murders in this state. To date, there have been 20 arrests for 11 murders. Some of those are up to 45 years old, with no bodies being found for 45 years. In fact, we found 3 bodies that have been missing for 45 years, 18 years and 7 years. There's a long way to go in this state. We still have 112 outstanding cold cases. We have 124 individual victims. So we're not stopping, we never rest. And this very pleasing result today is evidence of that. And that should encourage people, if they have any information, not about just the murder of Phyllis, but any other murder, you can come forward, you should come forward, because we never rest and never will. There's about $37 million worth of rewards in this state for unsolved homicides. Not that money should be the driver for you to come in, but it's certainly something to be aware of. So as I said, there's a little more I can really say. I'll open up the questions, but tomorrow morning's court appearance might assist you more.
Can you elaborate more on the forensic evidence and advancing that technology that helps you locate the suspect?
So it's not just about DNA or the advancements in science. It's about the quality of the detective work, first of all, that takes it down that path. So it's a combination of both detective work, police work, relentless pursuit, and advances in technology, including DNA. I won't make any further comment on that other than it's that composite approach that over time, particularly through the court process, which will bring that to the fore.
Is there any fresh evidence that you're able to obtain as separate to DNA?
So I've been asked about any fresh evidence. The evidence is built on the incredible amount of work that's done by detectives in previous years, over 22 years. So every bit gets added on like a jigsaw puzzle. No one piece is the key piece. It's really everything in totality. And again, there's nothing else I'll say about the scientific side of it until tomorrow before the court.
The arrested man already in prison.
I'll make no comment about the person who's been charged until the court tomorrow, and that is really a matter for the court jurisdiction.
We asked that.
Can you confirm that for long-term suspect?
I will make no comment about the person who's been arrested other than what I've made.
Can you tell us what his reaction was when he was arrested?
I'll make no comment about what he said to us.
Is he a
His
suspect?
reaction was surprised. Did he?
Oh, I don't know that, no.
Is he a suspect in any other murder investigations?
I'll make no comment about the arrested person. And I know that's probably not going to please you, but it's the situation we're in.
You spoke to the family of Mrs. Harrison.
I say so. We have, because this isn't just about the police work that happened here. It's not just about the charge we've laid. It's about what such crimes really mean to families, to the community. So we have, and part of what we're providing for your viewing is an interview with the family that really talks about the impact that 22 years of wondering has on them. You can imagine it. And so to bring that to closure, at least at this point, and now go forward with the court case, is just going to be just as stressful. But I think the interview with the family provides a very good insight to the troubles they face, the concerns they have, the wishes they have as family, and the comfort they have that at least for this time there's some closure to their despair.
Are you confident of the conviction based on the evidence you now have, or do you rely on more public information to sort of make that case sound?
Well, the case is sound. We're obliged to make the case for the court. Everything's tested. We don't rush in. So we're confident with the case we're making and laying. But anything can be built on, and hence the call for anyone that knows anything else. Because this should provide some comfort that even though it's 22 years later, if you did see something or you have this knowledge that you've been perhaps harbouring for some reason, now's the time to come forward.
So we don't yet know.
Yes, I'll make no comment about the crime until tomorrow's court case. But at this stage, that's not something we're looking at. But nothing is closed either.
So we
For
don't
those
yet
that
know.
aren't familiar with this case, how will you describe the sort of outcomes with it?
Well, I think I'd say this on behalf of all victims. No murder is pleasant. And I'm not saying you're saying it is, but you can imagine the shock that a family has walking into their grandmother's and mother's house and finding her deceased, not just from natural causes, but stabbed to death. So this is a person, and this is what drives the detectives, the South Australian Police, to keep going. This isn't a movie. It's not a story that will get closed in 1 hour session at night or a 3 hour movie. This is 22 years of work. There's more to come, and we've got lots of these lined up. And the community should feel comfortable that it's something we're committed to. And for the police side of the fence, it's a great outcome, but we don't rest here. We've still got to win the court case. We're confident we have enough. That's how the system works, and we can always build on it. And if anyone comes forward, we will.
Does that remain a key emotion in this matter?
Say that again.
I think police previously revealed theft as a key emotion in this matter. Is that what this case will be?
I say, so about the crime scene itself, what I'd say today is that there was certainly ransacking. We're not overly confident there was or wasn't property stolen. Some of that needs to be something we keep to build on, and hence it's this sort of piece about asking for anyone that might have heard something or knows something. They might have received property, they might have heard something, or they know that nothing was taken. There's some things that are unknown, but that's not central to the charge of murder.
Final questions, please.
I make no comment about the crime scene or the relationships with anyone. The court case will unfold, and I'm sure we have just as many inquiries and keen interest tomorrow morning at court.
Can you just make one more statement in terms of how significant this is in 22 years of work? How significant is this to the state?
Well, I think it's highly impactful and relevant to the family. You'll see in their interview and talking to you and to us about the impact on them, unfathomable relief, but also sadness. And from a community perspective, from a policing perspective, I'm very proud that we have this real focus in this state to just not give up. As I said, there are some bodies have been found from 45 years, 18 years and 7 years, and it shows you what is necessary, what can be done and what we will do. This is a great example. It's one example, but I remind you this is about Phyllis Harrison. She was killed in her home. It's our obligation to make that case. It's our obligation to investigate it and bring it to closure. We're pleased to say we've done the first stage, and now, of course, our obligation is to prove this in court.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.